What is going on, everybody? It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on, but you already know it's the basis of the podcast. You only got two of us right now, but trust me, Trajan is on his way. We'll be on in probably a couple of minutes. But I mean, you already know from Brutally Honest Sports. Got Aaron. Aaron, how are you doing tonight?
You're right, man. It almost feels like I'm not gonna say an eternity, but it feels like a little bit of time is going on. I mean, obviously your Celtics have like come and gone and won the whole finals and everything like in this duration that of time. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here as always. Like I could talk baseball till I'm in a wheelchair, so probably will. But yeah, no, I'm glad to be here and excited to get going on another podcast for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Celtics have come and done their thing. So I'm obviously celebrating that. Got the parade tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm gonna watch it and be like, okay, that's the NBA season. I mean, I have been, watching my Red Sox and everything, which we'll definitely get into, which we usually do. We talk about how our teams are doing, as well as some other teams around the league. But yeah, I'm loving it right now. And this is kind of the point of the year where a lot of those NBA fans, if they are baseball fans, they start tuning in. I mean, if not, then they just do whatever. But oh, here we go. I mean, all right. Not even on the show yet, but already getting on me. It's all good. But yeah, so this is kind of a period of time where baseball can capture some fans' attention. I mean, it's a bit weird this year because you also have an Olympic year. So I don't know how, that necessarily will work, but it's time for baseball to hopefully entertain some people. But yeah, so like I said, Trajan will be on in a little bit, even though he's already roasting me in the comments. It's all good. But yeah, so as we normally do, we got to bring up the. Should I get the right view here? Here we go. That way, those of you watching can see the scoreboard from today, as well as if you're listening. I mean, we'll probably touch on a couple of teams or uh, some games in here. Beat Kyrie and Luca, who can't keep up with Brooke Lopez.
Man,
All right, all right, all right. I mean, this is a baseball show, so I'm gonna let that one go. Let's just talk about what's going on around the league. So I think the first thing I want to talk about was the with the passing of Willie Mays, of course, which for like a older generation, he was kind of seen as the guy. Had all the tools. Sorry, family friendly here. Yeah, he had like all the tools. He was a great hitter, great defender, had speed and all that. And I think it's kind of cool what MLB is doing with the Giants and Cardinals playing at the Birmingham Barons Stadium, which was like a prominent stadium for the Negro Leagues. They have like the display of the scoreboard on the broadcast. It's kind of like an old timey type of look to it. I feel like it's a great thing that they're doing. So I think the first thing would be like, what do you think about them doing that? And should baseball kind of do a little bit more of that to embrace their past and maybe get some of their younger fans like more knowledge on some of these like historical places that help shape, I should say, kind of like today's product.
I mean, absolutely. I think baseball should do more. I mean, we can get into all the different ideas they've had, over the last couple of years. I mean, obviously, the Field of Dreams comes to mind. Not necessarily tied in with like the Negro League idea, but it was something different. And then obviously the London series that just concluded with the Phillies and Mets. So there was that. I mean, I do like that they're at least doing things. Polo grounds. Um, yeah, I mean, why not though, right? Like, and then you bring up like the Willie Mays and the Negro Leagues. Like, why not just kind of do do these type of things every once, like a couple times a year, or like that's the thing with the baseball schedule and the baseball season. Like, you can do. kind of a lot because I mean you have 162 games to play with. Like why not play a couple games in Mexico? Play a couple games. I know I think it was the Orioles 2 years ago went up to the Little League World Series and played up there, and then the Phillies did 1 year. Like that was cool. I mean that was at least and these players got interaction with kids that were playing in the Little League World Series, which is only a great thing for them. Like these are guys they idolize on TV. It's like larger than life figures, and they're, sitting right next to them watching a game or something. Like it's just stuff like that. I think baseball to keep, I'm not gonna say relevancy, but kind of keep the tradition of like such a pastime that it is. Like I think you need the sprinkle in the little league stuff, sprinkle in like the Negro leagues, and like pay tribute to that time period and everything that those guys went through to play baseball. Like all of that encompasses to me like what baseball should be. Not, I mean, yes, I'm for the changes with the pitch clock and everything, but I think everybody's so worried about like launch angle and this and that, and like baseball is like such a pure game, and like Trajan's talked about that before, where if you take away the human element of like umpires, you're kind of taking away that part of the game, just like this type of thing. Like if you were to, I don't know, never do little things like this or pay tribute to, the Negro leagues, pay tribute to old, like I would just love them just to play in old stadiums. Like why not? Like anything they can like find along those lines. Like I would love to see more of that for sure.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's something, especially for a sport like baseball that's so driven by stats and like historical numbers and everything like that. Yeah, go around to some of these stadiums and be like, because like I saw with their Negro League, I think museum is down there as well. So they showed some shots of that. They showed like the entrance, the walkway in. I mean, there's been like a couple of home runs, so you're kind of seen in like flying out of the ballpark. It's not like the biggest ballpark necessarily, but I mean, well, it turns like seating, like some of the seating is kind of like along the lines only, not really a lot in the outfield or anything like that. But it's kind of just cool seeing the teams playing. I think they're playing in like old school uniforms as well, which I mean, we've talked about uniforms on here kind of regularly. Like that's always something cool to see as well. So I would love to see baseball do more of it. Like Trey just said, I mean, it would be hilarious if Polo Grounds was still around and they just did like a random game there every year. Like that would be historical as well. But yeah, definitely do it for the younger fans that you're trying to attract. I get it. They say younger fans, the attention span isn't there and all this kind of stuff, but like educate them on what happened before. Show little clips and all that. I feel like it's definitely great that they're doing this for sure. Um, I guess, looking past that as well. I mean, because look, both of us, we were not old enough to really watch Willie Mays, obviously. But we've seen clips. We saw the over the shoulder catch and firing it back into the infield. We've seen, some like his historical hits. I know that they showed with the Giants won the pennant, and was it like Thompson who was hitting? I think Willie Mays in the on deck circle. Like we've seen clips like that. But I mean, there anything that you may have heard about him or maybe saw like in clips or anything about Willie Mays? Because I know it's a big deal for the baseball community. Because like I said, he was seen as like one of those 5 tool players that was just larger than life at a time that was kind of difficult for Black people, but he still left a mark on the league.
Yeah, I mean that clip you bring up, like that's probably one of, I would argue like that's one of the, it's got to be in the top 10 of like most famous like vintage baseball clip. Like that's just, if you're a baseball fan, even to a casual degree, and like you turn on the the home run derby or like what have you, like that clip will just come up sometime. Like it just finds a way to like surface, no matter what. Like they couldn't even be talking about the Giants, and okay, here we venture into the Willie Mays thing, and like he's like just one of those icons. Like you think of like Willie Mays, Ty Cobb, like I mean all these like obviously a little bit different time period and stuff, but like just these names carry so much weight. Like Roberto Clemente, like there's just guys that like back, way back, that kind of paved the way. I mean, obviously, like you bring up the, as an African American, Willie Mays, I'm sure paved the way for a lot of guys. Obviously you talk about Jackie Robinson, but like he's another, just kind of a hallmark player for that community. And then like he's one of the best players of all time. Like really, I mean, if you look, and then people will always bring up, oh well, if he faced today's pitching, whatever, but you can't control that. Like he played when he played, and he played at an extremely high level. And like I said, he's one of the best. I mean, he's a career 301 hitter, 660 home runs, just shy of 2,000 RBIs, 3,200 hits. I mean, it's just like bonkers. I know that clip, like you said, is so iconic, and they say he was one of the best field. I can't say I've watched a lot of his gameplay or anything like that, or even like highlight clips outside of some that I've seen, but everybody, I mean, you talk to any baseball enthusiast, I should say, and they'll tell you like how great like if you watched Willie Mays play, it was a spectacle. And like he was probably one of the best outfielders of all time. I've heard that be thrown around so much. And it's a shame. I mean, he lived a super long life, so you can't look at it in a too much of a negative light. Right. But obviously, when anybody passes, it's unfortunate, and it's life. But he will forever be remembered. Like even though he played, quite long ago, he's iconic in the baseball world. It's like, I don't want to make a weird comparison, but like when John Madden passed away, it's like, all right, John, like it doesn't matter how long ago he coached or whatever. Like it's John Madden. Like there's certain names in sports that are just like you said, larger than life for sure, and he's one of them.
Yeah, and like you said, it's definitely a big deal in the baseball world, the passing of Willie Mays. But he also was 93 or something. So yeah, that's a long life, but still, you never want to hear about like a legend like that dying. Yeah, so I mean, trying to transition from that, it's tough to do, but we got to keep it kind of going here. Looking at, I guess, some of the action going on the field. I know for you, your team, one of your teams, the Orioles, just had a series against the Yankees, because we talked about this like in our group chat. I feel like we might as well start there, because they faced my team before, then went to the Orioles, and then they have like the Braves next. I think the Red Sox are coming up again early July. What do you think about it? Because the Orioles did take 2 of 3, and this was a series where the Yankees went in game and a half up, seen as the 2 best teams in the division. Maybe you could argue the 2 best teams in the American League in general. So that's obviously a big deal. Yes, it's the middle of the season, but it still means something in terms of at the end, look at the standings. This is a series you could look back on and say, well, this team won the division because of that series. Who knows? So, like, what were your thoughts on how the Orioles played? I'm sure you have some thoughts on the Yankees. So, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, it kind of started out, pretty stale as far as the news, because I mean, we got
Trajan.
There he is.
We're here. We're ready. A little late, but we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're all here. Excuse me, but no, I mean, we heard that like Kyle Bradish was going to be done for the year, so that's like a huge. I mean, outside of Corbin Burns, like I think Kyle Bradish, like you could argue, like Corbin Burns is 1A and Kyle Bradish is 1B. I mean, he finished 4th in the Cy Young voting last year. So I mean, for them to lose him for the year right before this series took place, I was like, man, that is an absolute buzzkill. Like that took the wind out of a lot of fan sales, I think. But And then Suarez, I mean, this guy that the Orioles literally found off of we're getting right into that.
We're literally talking about it right now. Great timing.
But yeah, Suarez, the Orioles pitcher, like he's bounced around the league. He's like 34 years old. Like I have no idea what this guy is. Like it's kind of like a Cinderella story so far, but they've inserted him in the starting role. I mean, he got hit around a little bit. Game 1 they dropped, but there was a lot of drama in Game 1. Like I mean, he hits Aaron Judge on a ball that, I mean, Aaron Judge was kind of leaning in, on an inside pitch. Clips him in the hand. I get it. I mean, it's your best player. It's the face of the franchise. But I mean, the Yankees dugout. I mean, they acted like he got hit unconscious. You know what I mean? Like it was like, all right, let's all pump the brakes here because you got Verdugo chirping. You got Garrett Cole. To me, this guy wants to fight everybody, but he sounds like Kermit the Frog, and then he's not going to hit anybody. So it's like, give me a break with Garrett Cole. But it's just so all that happened, and then. In that same game, they throw, up and in on Gunnar Henderson a couple times. They throw behind Santander. I was like, okay, this, obviously this isn't forgotten already, quite yet. And then Game 2, they hit Gunnar in the back, which he just kind of threw his bat towards the dugout, and you could tell he's like, man, I can't stand these guys. But at the end of the day, then the Orioles plunk. I don't know who it wasn't. It wasn't somebody that, that comes to mind. It wasn't like a big name guy. But it was just, there was a ton of drama. And then, this Game 3 plays out today. And, you had Luis Hill on the bump for the Yanks. And I'm like, man, this guy, I mean, he's been pitching at a really high level. I know he struggled last time out. And I mean, he got lit up. I mean, he definitely got lit up in this game. Long story short, I obviously taking 2 or 3 from the Yankees. I don't care if it's the Padres. I love to see it. I really do love to see it, but I really don't. Maybe I'm sounding a little bit negative, but that Kyle Bradish thing is they have some guys that can step up, but can they be a replacement for Kyle Bradish? I just don't. I don't know if I see that. So I think the Orioles are gonna have to make a deal at the deadline. To sustain keeping, if the Yankees play at this level, you have to go get a pitcher because I just don't think you have enough arsenal with. I mean, they lost Tyler Wells early in the season. John Means is, I mean, the guy opens a freaking can of potatoes or potatoes, whatever. He twists his arm. Like the guy gets injured doing anything. So you knew that was coming. And then now Kyle Bradish. So that's 3 guys that can be starters that are gone. So you take 2 or 3, you sit a half game back, but now Garrett Cole's back in the mix. I mean, he pitched yesterday, so we'll see. But it was a drama-filled series, and the Yankees sure had enough just crying and typical antics from them. It was just – it made me have a little bit more hatred towards them because it was just – they act like, no one can ever hit any of their guys. And even if it was intentional, it was like their crowd. I mean, their crowd, it sounded like Game 7 when they hit Gunnar. Like it sounded like, they just won the game to clinch the playoff berth or whatever. Like that for them to erupt in celebration that they hit Gunnar Henderson. I'm like, that's as much as Philly is classless. That's kind of above classless to me, but so be it.
Well, and I don't get how you don't warn. Like, there was no warnings after that either. Like, that's what got me. I get it. You want to hit Gunnar. Like, didn't hit him in the head, hit him in the back. You move on with life. I thought Gunnar showed a lot of poise because there's a lot of guys out there who, if they got hit in that situation, they were charging. Like, they were coming out to the mound. He threw the bat to the side. Everybody knew he was pissed. Like, you could tell. But threw the bat, walked down to first. He's like, okay, we saw it coming. But no warnings. That's what baffled me. Brewers, I mean, we had Freddie Peralta get tossed out of a game without a warning. He just plunked a guy and they threw him out. So if you guys would have had Guccione, if Guccione was calling that, he probably would have tossed the entire team, but you guys luckily didn't have him out there. But I mean, that's what baffled me with the whole situation. It was like eye for an eye kind of thing. Like, that's how it works. I get it. End of the day. Is it crappy? Yeah, it's crappy, but that's just how it is. Like that's how it works. But the no warnings that got to me. Like everybody knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when. When is he going to get plunked? When is somebody going to get plunked? It finally happened. That's where if you're an umpire, you step in, you say, okay, we're warning both benches. It happens again. Somebody's getting tossed. That's all you got to do. No warnings. That's what really baffled me in the whole situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Plus, the pitcher who obviously hit him was, Nestor, because he's just a sideshow at this point.
It's gotta be.
It's just like that guy is. He just epitomizes what the Yankees are. A little annoying, a little overrated, and you just want him off your TV. That's Nestor Cortez and the Yankees. But yeah, I mean, looking at the series as well, actually looking a little bit past this series, they've lost 2 or 3 to the Dodgers, another really good team. They weren't able to beat them in a series. They swept the Royals. Okay. Well, actually, it took 3 or 4 from the Royals, but whatever. Lost 2 or 3 to the Red Sox, and now 2 of 3 to the Orioles. So they're definitely going through a bit of a period of, I guess you'd call it a slump. Like, you'd have to call it a slump. And like when I watch them, especially today in the Red Sox series, it's like you're seeing the same thing with the Yankees, right? That they score runs, mainly home runs. They don't move runners along. They don't really have any speed on the bases. It's either if their pitching's up to par, fine. They'll probably score enough. Well, if their pitching's a little shaky and you're going up against a team like the Orioles that has a pretty decent lineup up and down, like it's not just like Gunnar and Rushman, you got Mullins, like you have all these other guys who can be pesky. And you saw what you saw today. Like 17 runs. They're throwing out Trevino in the 9th because they just got thrown a position pitcher out there. He's throwing like 58 miles an hour. I mean, I'm watching that like I'd grab a bat and take a swing on that. 58. I think I'd like my chances against that. And it's just like, I get it. The Yankees have 51 wins or whatever, but they are one of those teams that when it comes to October, late season baseball, like they have to prove it to me, especially with this group. I get Aaron Judge. I get the talent that he is, but the guys around him, I can't trust them. I can't. Stanton is a dead pull hitter that hits like 220. What is that supposed to do for you? Volpe is hitting better. He was awful last year, but it's like they still have too many guys in that lineup that hit like 250, 230, like 210. And in the postseason, you're going to face teams that have really good pitching staffs, and some of these teams are better lineups than them, which is why they fall short every year. I don't see why this year would be any different, but of course, once you get to October, anything can happen. So, Yankees fans can do whatever they want with that. I still think that they're a team that's going to fall short, and everybody in New York's going to lose their mind because, once again, the Yankees don't win another World Series title. But they got their 27, though. They got 27. They just haven't won one in forever right now.
They'll never let you live any other. If you like any other team, they will let you know how many. I mean, I guess I would do the same thing, but it's like you said, Kyle. I mean, how many of these World Series have people actually seen? Maybe 2, 3. If they're our age. I mean, they won the World Series in '96. I was born in '96. They won it in they beat the Phillies in 11 or something around there. 09 or what? 09, I think it was. And they won like 1 or 2 in the early 2000s. So, whoop-de-doo. I mean, yeah, they've won more than some teams, but are they a powerhouse? Are they like a team to be feared every? I mean, yeah, they're a playoff team every year, but cool.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're the definition of power with zero average. I mean, Stanton, I'll let Stanton go. I mean, he's a power guy. That's what he's paid to do. Like he's paid to hit home runs. But I mean, you look at the rest of the averages: Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Cabrera. I mean, you're talking guys 235 and below right now. That's your starting infield right there. The only two guys who are, I mean, outside of Volpe, because Volpe is hitting. I mean, he's 271 right now. That's nothing to shake your head at. 271 solid. But I mean, outside of that, you have Judge and Soto. That's it. I mean, John Birdie in 17 games, he was hitting 273. That's about it. Outside of that, I mean, it drops off and it drops off fast. The infield for the Yankees is terrible. Anthony Rizzo, he fell off a cliff, and I was here for it. I was here for it. Big, Cub guy there. I'm here for it. I'm here for the downfall of Anthony Rizzo. But I mean, yeah, they just, you're talking about falling short when the home run ball isn't flying. You get to some of these pitchers who don't give up a lot of home run balls. The Yankees are going to struggle, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the life of me, like I don't understand why they hang on to. I mean, like if they want to make bad decisions, I'll like Trajan said, I'm here for the Rizzo downfall. I'm here for all the bad decisions and questionable decisions they make. Like, why are they hanging on to DJ LeMahieu when that guy, twists his ankle getting out of a car? Like he's the definition of like I cannot stay healthy for more than 10 games. And then even when he won a batting title. How long ago was that? And then. Like he's a good defensive player. I know the Yankees usually pick up guys that have glove first and then, batting second. A lot of the time you'll see like just a bunch like who was it? Bader. He was another guy that I think was glove first and then bat second. And like I see what they try and do. But I mean, outside of like Judge and Soto, I mean, yeah, Verdugo can hurt you sometimes. I mean, Rizzo really, like Trajan said, Rizzo, but like what's his name? The second baseman, Torres. Yeah, Gleyber Torres. He's in a contract year, and he's having arguably one of the worst years of. It might be his worst year of his career. So, I mean, I'm here for it again. It's just that to me, like, because he's murdered the Orioles before. Like, the one year he hit like 15 home runs against the Orioles. I was like, this is insanity. But it's I mean, there's a lot of guys like when they got Verdugo, I was like, man, I don't like that, but I mean, is he? If they didn't have Soto, like Soto's WAR has to be pretty high up there, I would think, because I mean he's been obviously really good, but him like if Judge and Soto don't carry that team, how many guys can string hits together to keep an inning, going? Like Verdugo, like
exactly.
Torres, like Trevino, like So
you were mentioning WAR there for a second. Just a quick Soto's 4.2, Judge is 5.2. If you had to take a guess what Anthony Rizzo is sitting at for his WAR right now, what would you guess? Without looking, nobody look. What would you guess?
0.2.
I was gonna go big and go 0.8.
I'm gonna give you it's below 1. It's below 0. He's at negative 0.5. I didn't even know you could get into the negatives, and he's in the negative. If you look honestly at the WAR of this Yankees team outside of Judge and Soto, you have Volpe at 2.8, you have Trevino at 1.0, and Verdugo's at 1.2. Outside of that, everybody is 0.1, negative 0.5. Like nobody is really meaningful to this lineup to get them wins. You can interchange every single one of these pieces and still find a way to win a ball game. That's what this is telling me right here. You have two guys, maybe three if you had Volpe in there, who you got to have out there. Everybody else is like, they could get hurt. We could bring up a AAA guy. We'd be better off.
It's for like all the money that they're spending. Like that's a little sad. Although I went looking at ESPN Power Rankings. They are number 1 in the Power Rankings, of course, because they're the Yankees. But I mean, I'm assuming neither of you have seen the ESPN Power Rankings and know looking. Like, who do you think rounds out their top 5?
Yankees, Phillies,
okay,
Orioles.
Phillies are right as number 2.
Orioles is number 3.
Yep.
Wow. Number 4, give me. That's a toughie. Give me the Dodgers, just because they love the Dodgers. And number 5, give me the Brewers because they rightfully should be in the 5 spot.
They are not.
Oh, see, they screw the Brewers once again. One game
I will
back of the
say-
Dodgers for the number 2 spot in the NL, and yet
The
we
Brewers
are
are 6. So they're right there. The Brewers are 6.
We're getting posed. We're getting hosed by somebody. Hold on. Let me look on the list. Here.
I thought for sure the Dodgers would be above the Orioles just because they're it's like Yankees West. Like they just get power ranked because they're the Dodgers.
Give me the Cleveland Guardians. Number
Ooh,
5.
Yes, they have the Cleveland Guardians as the 5th best team.
Yep. Nobody's talking about Steven Kwan, but that guy is hitting like a man right now.
Yeah, it plays good defense in the outfield.
But in all reality, the Brewers above everybody.
And then a couple
Except
of other
for
teams like
Padres.
the Mariners are 7, Braves at 8, the Royals at 9, and the Twins are 10. My Red Sox coming at 11, which I'll take that any day because, I mean, they weren't expected to do much this year. They are definitely playing
That
a
just
lot
tells
better
us
than I
how
thought.
bad the league is. That just tells us how bad the league is if we got the Red Sox that high up.
Hey, we're coming off of, what do we have, 5-game winning streak. We just swept the Blue Jays, took 2 or 3 from the Yankees. The Red Sox are flying high right now.
Oh, you
9 stolen bases against Trevino. Loved watching every one of those.
Red Sox got 2 or 3 from the Phillies, I believe, too, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did.
I know that was kind of a lot. Now you're talking over a week ago. But
Yeah. Did not see that coming either.
no, but I don't know. It's tough. I will forever say it's tough to go to Fenway and win to it. Like it just feels like the Red Sox could win 40 games all year sometime. Like probably never, but and it's like they won all those games at home. Like it just feels like you go to Fenway and in the late innings it's just something weird happens and then boom, here come the Reds. Like especially I mean obviously you're during the Ortiz, like David Ortiz era, it was a lot better of a team, you know, like stacked every position and everything else. But like I remember so many games in Fenway. I was like, here comes the bottom of the 9th, and here comes Big Pot, and boom, there's the game. It's just like you could never put the Red Sox away. I don't know if you noticed that, Kyle, with this current team, but it just feels like at home they were different. They were at least I don't know. There's something about that. But
Brewers did
No,
twice.
I
2 of 3. I'm just gonna 2 of 3. We went to Fenway and said,
we're
"Hey,
not talking
how do you
about
do? 7-2. Hey, how do you do? 6-3."
We're not talking about that series, okay? We're talking about
The Brewers are just the best.
Phillies,
That's why they're the best. They're
Yankees,
the best
we're talking
around.
about the Blue Jays. That's what we're talking about. The Brewers series didn't happen, okay? I don't remember that one.
interleague, it doesn't really whatever. It's a throwaway series.
Well, when you
No,
got
I
the
mean,
best
look,
team in America
I did
coming
watch
into
that series.
town,
Trajan, I will say this, that I thought the Brewers played really well. I was impressed by the way that they handled the Red Sox pitching. Like they knocked around some of those guys. And, you know, I
we
did
go through
watch that one
stretches.
and-
We go through stretches. We hit good pitchers when we face bad. You could have called up 3 double-A pitchers, 3 lefties from double-A. They would have K'd us up all day long, probably throwing a no-hitter. Like, that's just how it goes. But if you have primetime Jacob deGrom on the mound, we're going to light him up for like 14 runs. It doesn't matter. We almost got no-hit by somebody from the Cubs who I've never even heard of. Some random rookie from the minor leagues called him up, dang near no-hits us. The next night, we put up 7 on Imanaga. It's like, what, why? I mean, we got no hit by Alec Mills once. That's right. If you don't know who Alec Mills is, look him up. You don't even remember because that's how bad he is. He no hit us once.
But you should feel good about that because normally we get to the postseason, you're only facing good pitchers.
Well, that's just true. If you want to beat the Brewers in the postseason, just call up all single-A pitchers. You can find them on the street corner. If you find a guy chucking hot dogs with his left hand, throw him out there. He will strike out Willie Adames 14 times over again. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, look, baseball is a very weird sport and a lot of odd bounces here or there. But Trajan, since you weren't here in the beginning, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about.
I was here in spirit, in the comments.
I know, but just so you can actually say for those people that are watching, like the whole thing with baseball playing in the Birmingham Stadium, like is that something that baseball should do more of? I know you put in the comments about polo grounds, but like try to hit fields that are historical. I mean, I don't know how many of them are actually around still, but even if it's like just playing in a city that has a lot of meaning to baseball, like isn't that something that they should do a lot more of? Like what do you think about that?
Yeah. No, I like the idea. I really do. It adds that little bit of element of the pastime. So people can see like there was a game played at this stadium once, and you get all them people back into there. They can see the historic things that maybe you only have seen on, YouTube, or if you play MLB The Show or whatever, like you've never seen a real game here. You get to see that. I mean, I've always been for teams playing at like minor league affiliate teams, playing in some of them stadiums just so to showcase what like, Nashville looks like, or what some of these other stadiums actually look like, because they don't get draw them big crowds. Well, now they get to see the big leaguers, guys that maybe they watched way back in the day when they were coming up through the minors. They get to see them in the major leagues now, but playing on that same field. I think it adds a different element, just like you just said with the historic fields. I think it adds a different element, celebrating the pastime. I think you can overdo it, because somebody said something about the Field of Dreams. I think that was Aaron, said something about the Field of Dreams. They've turned the Field of Dreams basically into a parking lot now. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way. It was always such a historic place, and they played games there and everything like that, vintage games and all that kind of stuff there. And now that ESPN's gotten in there, and I mean Disney, love Disney. Oh my God. They get them into there now, and it's like they turned it into a corporate, like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of ruins what was there at one point, just a simple like cornfield in the background, like, that simple thing. And I just don't want to see it get taken too far. I want to see them celebrate some of these great fields, but not take it to the point where we ruin the pastime along with it. That's kind of where I think I would draw the line, but I definitely do want to see more games played elsewhere. Now, I don't want to see them played in Korea or Japan or whatever at, 2:00 in the morning, because who cares at 2:00 in the morning? If the Brewers went over there, I'm telling you what, I don't care. They can play their game. I'll check it out when I wake up. But after that, I don't care. Like, that's too early in the morning to be waking up. So I think there's a line that you can't cross. And I think some of them stupid things where they have like these weird start times, right? I think that kind of gets to me. I mean, you look at the NFL. It's not bad when you play in London and the game starts at like 8:00 in the morning. Like, that's not terrible. People are waking up, they get to watch football, and then after that game's done, you have a little break, and then you get to watch more football. Like, that's great. I don't think that's a bad idea. MLB, I think, screwed up by the 3:00 in the morning, and then you have all day to wait, and then you get to watch more baseball. So I think there's a line, but I would definitely love to see more games played at some of these historic places.
Well, I mean, we understand why they do the whole international series, because it's all about global branding, because that's global money and everything like that. I get it, but I feel like some areas that they're going to, like when they're playing in Korea, it's like Korea's already big on baseball. Like, what are you really adding?
That's what I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of places that are already big on baseball. Like football is like nobody plays American football except for America. Like that's just how it is. Nobody else really. They call football over there. They kick a ball around. Little grass fairies out there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't want to make fun of the soccer people now. Family friendly. I'm sorry, soccer people out there. I didn't mean. It's just okay.
They will find you.
Off topic, but it pisses me right off. Watching soccer is like, okay, it's 90 minutes, right? First off, the clock runs backwards. That irritates the piss out of me. But secondly, there is like 86 minutes where there is absolutely nothing happening. Just dudes running up or women running up and down and kicking this ball around. And maybe if you're lucky, in about 4 minutes of action, you will see somebody score. You will see something happen. Like, I don't get how people go to these events and stay sober. Grass ping pong. That's funny. if I went and watched soccer, I would have to tailgate like I tailgate for the Brewer game. I get pretty loaded up and then I go into the Brewer game. Like this, I got the last Brewer game I went to, I was pretty roughed up by the first inning. But I mean, I'm all for that, but like I would have to get pretty blitzed out of my mind to be able to watch soccer because it baffles me. It really does. It baffles me that you have a clock running backwards, first off. And then secondly, there is 86 to 88 minutes of absolutely nothing happening. And in 2 minutes, people get so excited that they come back. It irritates me. It really does.
And I'll die on this hill. The only reason it's as big as it is because like you can just pick up it's like basketball. Yeah, there's basketball hoops in America, but like I don't think there's nearly as many basketball hoops in, where it's like Spain or whatever, Barcelona, whatever. But and like that's part of it, and like everybody plays it. Like outside of that, like I'm completely on board with you, Trajan. There's people in my town like that. We have a soccer outlet where it's like literally only soccer, so like merchandise and knee pads, all that type, whatever those people use, cleats and everything. And like they'll have a sale, and like the parking lot will overfill. And I'm like, how are there this many people obsessed with this? And then like they'll have tournaments around here, and it's like they don't have enough parking spots for people. And I'm like, I get it. Like everybody's into different stuff, like to each their own. But like to watch it, like maybe I'll turn on the World Cup, and I'm like, why did I do this? Like maybe I'm rooting for the USA, cool, but like I'd rather watch paint dry. Like I don't understand the obsession with it. Like okay, it's a sport, this and that, but like I'm completely you took the words out of my mouth. Like it's crazy to me. Like whatever. I mean.
It's like NASCAR. It's like NASCAR. You don't watch the whole race of NASCAR. You turn it on. You watch the first couple laps. You take a nap. You wake up. There's about 3 laps to go. Now you watch it, right? Otherwise, who's sitting there and watching like 200 laps of guys driving in a circle and making a left turn? That drives me nuts. People sit there and they watch an entire race, and it's like, what are you watching? Oh, he told me. What is he going to make a left turn? Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, he made a left turn. Oh, he made a left turn. I wonder if he's going to turn right. He probably shouldn't. He's going to run into a wall. Oh, left turn.
At least with that, though, Trajan, like they're talking about, the downforce and this and that. Like there's all this like science and that. Like at least like soccer, it's like how technical is it? You're kicking a ball. You're on a grass field. Like you're not going 200 miles an hour with people drafting on you, and like. At least I can appreciate that part of like race. Like racing is, to me, it's like mind-boggling how these guys do it. Where soccer, I'm like, okay, cool. You can, like, I don't. It's just, I don't know.
You got to have a big pair of cojones to drive a car at 200 miles per hour with.
At least there's that to that. Like, what can you say about
grass fairs? That's what we call them here. We call them grass fairs.
Well, I mean, look. Here's the weird thing. I'm a soccer guy.
He's a soccer guy. I knew it was coming. He was so quiet. He was waiting for his moment. He's a soccer guy.
So I get it, right? I get it. I get to a lot of people. It's
freaking not... Boston people are so fucking weird. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, this. Sorry, family friendly here. Family friendly. I'm sorry.
But see, like my thing is, it was like a part of my background because of like my parents are Caribbean. It's big down there. So as a kid, I played it. And then from that, I watched it. I understand it. I understand the little nuances to it. Because yes, to a lot of people, it's a few guys just running on a field, kicking it at each other. But there's way more that goes into it than just that. So that's why I can appreciate the game. I'd also tell people it probably depends on who you're watching and what league you're watching. Because if you're just going to start out and you watch like the wrong league, you probably think this is the most boring thing ever. But if you watch like actual high level soccer, you're like, okay, I get it. I see the skill. I see all of that. That's all I'll say about it. Because look, there's some people who would watch baseball and go, who would sit for 9 innings to watch this? And you'd have other people who'd be like, well, you're not watching it the right way or the right team and everything. Like, yeah, if somebody who didn't like baseball tuned in and saw the Orioles beat the Yankees 17-5, after a couple innings, they probably been like, "This isn't fun." Watching one team just destroy this other one, and
or even like a pitcher's duel for that matter, Kyle. Like if it's a 1-0, like it's Jacob deGrom in his prime versus Verlander, and it's just like strikeout, ground out. Like I could see that, but I mean, you're right. I played soccer like in elementary school, and then I was like, yeah, no, like this isn't. I totally get where like I'm not saying it doesn't take any skill. That I don't want to. It's just the action level is like Trajan said.
It's
like
not like hockey. Hockey
Right.
is so
well,
long.
yeah,
There's only
I would never
limited
make
amount
the
of
argument.
goals, but there's dudes running each other into the boards. There's like that's why I watch hockey. I don't even care about hockey. I just want to see some mother effer drive another mother effer straight into the boards and get me excited. And that Edmonton Oilers fan got the people riled up. She did. She got the people riled up. I was like, son of a bitch, go Canada. Sorry, family friendly. Family friendly here. Sorry.
We're rusty. We haven't been on here in a little bit, you know.
I know. Son of a gun.
Yeah, we're catching up. We're catching up here.
The kids are like looking it up right now, like Edmonton Oilers girl. They'd be like, "Whoa, mom, get out!"
But I mean, that does kind of, lend to a certain point that if there's a sport you don't know much about, there has to be something that hooks you. Like Jory said, she watches hockey for the fights. If you don't watch hockey and you see a really good hockey fight, you're like, okay, this is something I could probably get into. If you watch NASCAR, I mean, if you're going to watch 450 laps around, maybe there's some crazy maneuver that happens. You go, okay.
Yeah, lap 250 and somebody made a crazy maneuver, and then 200 laps later, somebody won.
Hey, there are people who will set aside their whole day to watch every one of those laps. I say more power to them. I would never be one of those people.
Maybe, yeah, closet psychopath. I heard Jeffrey Dahmer was big into watching NASCAR too.
That's another though. Like I will say, I agree with you, Kyle, as far as the level you're like. There's NASCAR, then there's IndyCar, then there's Formula One, and it's like the differences between those. Even I'm like, I get there's some NASCAR guys that go and drive Indy and go and I mean it's rare. We've seen one guy go drive Formula One, but I'm like, yeah, you go from turning left at 180 to 200 miles an hour in a really heavy car to like. I was watching the Indy 500. I'm like, this is this doesn't even make sense how these guys do this, and like the car doesn't hit the wall, like you know what I mean. So I will say, like, yes, racing, you have to like it, but if you watch like IndyCar and then you go back and watch NASCAR, I'm like, it's like watching the MLB and then watching AA. To me, I mean, to each their own. NASCAR is a huge following, but it's not this. I don't know how to explain. It's not as like razor sharp as
boom.
Yeah, it's just like Kyle, you could probably say like what the English Premier League is like IndyCar, and then the MLS is like freaking NASCAR. You know what I mean? Like it's soccer, but it's barely. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, you definitely notice the differences. Like, some leagues they play with a lot more flair, some play a little bit more physical. I know some people like physical in soccer, but yes, there are some leagues that are very physical. I mean, you got goalkeeping play. Like, there's a lot to it. I mean, hey, that's me though. I get it. Some people watch soccer, they have no idea what offsides is. They don't know what's going on. Yellow card, red card. What does it all mean? I get it, but I understand the game, so it's easy for me to pick up. I mean, it's like golf. Not a lot of people are going to watch a full golf tournament because I don't know. Like, you don't know like 3/4 of the golfers, so you're just there lost until you see somebody make some crazy shot, and then you're like, okay, I'll stick around and watch another few. And it's just like, that's how every sport is. Like Jory said, she used to be like that with baseball because, like I said, if you tune into the wrong game and it's like no hit for 8 innings both ways. You're just like, okay, the pitching's good, but what are these guys with the bats doing? How do you not hit that? So it's every sport goes through it. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, we have like 9 or so minutes for get back into baseball, I guess. Or we could just continue on the path of hockey fighting and
Totality.
people watching cars make right turns for 530 laps, or left turns, I should say.
Left
Sorry.
turns, Kyle. You would die.
Left
in
turns. Okay,
NASCAR.
yeah. Don't want to offend the NASCAR people.
That steering wheel does not turn right.
No, it only
Fixed.
goes one
Straight
direction.
or left? Straight or left?
Attention, well, let me do soccer, golf. I used to be like that with baseball until I actually started wanting to learn it. Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah, if you're trying to learn it, that lends you to pay a little bit more attention to it. I get that. I will say, for golf, it has made me think about trying it. Maybe it's one of those like more fun to actually play it than necessarily watch it.
100%.
So Jory, all you got to do is want to learn soccer, and then there you go. You'll be set, and then you become a fan for life.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, man. I might be doing a soccer watch along this weekend on my channel. I don't know.
You might fall asleep, Kyle. Like maybe I'll watch soccer to fall asleep. Like maybe that'll be the use.
That's what I do.
I don't. Okay.
Who's your team? Like we gotta investigate this a little bit now. Now that
the only golf you'll get out of me is Wii Golf.
Hey,
that was a fun time.
Solid.
That's not gonna happen. Well, who's my team? Soccer wise? Let's see. I mean, I like Liverpool. Well, because they're tied to the Red Sox, that became like my team in the English Premier League. Obviously, watch U.S. national teams. I watch Real Madrid. You know, I kind of watch a lot of the big boys, but some English Premier League teams that are kind of a smaller scale, I do like watching as well. I just kind of like just watching whatever. You give me 2 good teams, I'm there for it.
Dang, like you said, more power to you, sir. Because I don't know. I don't think I've ever watched a soccer. I can tell you this. I've never watched a soccer game like from start to finish ever in my life. Like,
once again,
but people love it. People love it. Like, yeah. People are fanatics for it. But
crazy people out there, my friend.
I mean, look, you can pull like YouTube stuff about soccer crowds. Like, you will see some crazy stuff. Like, if their team's not winning, they'll storm the field. They'll go nuts.
They're like Boston Celtics fans. They fight each other when they lose a game. They don't even go pick out somebody else. They fight each other.
Probably justified. Some guy probably said some stupid comment. We're not going to let that fly in Boston, and he let him know. Take that outside.
Boston fandom, where we fight each other when we lose.
They're just taking.
I saw the video. I thought it was hilarious.
That's a Philadelphia thing for sure, or New York. Like, you got to be a crazy fan base to just throw down with your own people. Like, yeah, it's.
But the crazy thing is, Boston hasn't done watch parties in forever. They finally bring it back, and that's what happens. The team's probably like, this is why we don't do them. Because we sit you guys in a room for a couple hours, you're going to get drunk, and then you're just going to start wailing on each other. I would love to know what that guy said to make that other guy just get up and start hitting him. I gotta know what he said.
Knowing Boston fans, probably, excuse me, I have to get by. And he said, what'd you say to me? Oh, bam! All right, boys. Baseball trivia. Trivia for the day here, boys. We have MLB World Series trivia on tap. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. How many World Series have the Cleveland Indians / Guardians now? How many World Series titles have they won in their history? Less than
They
10.
either-
More than one.
Okay.
Okay, that's good because I was almost going to say, have they actually won any? But they obviously did win one that I remember.
It was like long because when they played the Cubs, it was I remember like their drought was
Yeah.
long.
Not as long as the Cubs, but
No,
getting up there.
No, definitely not.
I'll say 3.
Aaron?
I'll say 2.
2 is correct. They have won 2
Okay.
World Series titles.
When
How
was
many
the last
times?
one?
I have no idea the answer to that question. All I have is the number here, okay? It's a simplified quiz, not a complex quiz.
All right, I'll let you slide.
I can look it up if you would like.
No,
You
no,
have access to a phone. Look it up yourself. All right. Here we go, Mr. Baltimore Orioles fan. How many times have the Baltimore Orioles won the World Baseball Series title? I don't know why it says World Baseball Series title. That's stupid.
That was-
Baseball World Series.
Yeah, that's the
title.
easy one. That's 3.
Ba-bam. 3. There we go. What team lost a record of 113 games in 2003? American League team.
Was that the Tigers?
Heck of a first guess there. Wowza. I would have said Boston Red Sox, but you guessed Tigers. Nuts.
We don't set records like that, okay? We don't do that.
We don't set win records. We don't
That's a
set
really
loss
good guess.
records. We just sit right in the middle. Heck of a guess, though, buddy. Heck of a guess. Next up.
Man, American.
Now that's a bad one. How
I don't
many?
think-
Here we go. How many pennants have the Boston Red Sox won?
Pennants.
Oh, I stumped him. He got the Tigers, but he doesn't know Boston Red Sox.
No, that's yeah.
Less than 20. More than 7.
I'll say lucky number 13.
Oh, dead nuts. 13. Right on. The
Okay,
Orioles
there you
man
go.
coming in clutch.
That was a total guess. That was out of left field, literally.
All right, you got to have this one, Kyle. You got to have this one. How many World Series titles do the Boston Red Sox have?
I don't have to have that one. Okay, let's
Oh,
see.
Oh
jeez.
no!
Jeez, Kyle. Come on now. Think hard.
So for some reason, when you said that, the first number that popped in my head, well, actually, 2 numbers popped in my head. Is it like 6 or 8?
Pick one.
So I want to say, what would you say?
Pick one of those.
Yeah, I know it's one of those.
Well, you got to decide on one. It's a 50-50 shot here. Come on. Playing the lottery.
What's your gut
I
telling
think
you?
it's 6.
I
I'll
would
say
went the opposite way.
yes. Okay.
It was 8.
Wow!
It was 8.
Dang!
What baseball team won 114 games in 1998?
Seattle Mariners.
Nada.
Oh, dang!
You guys hate this team.
Yankees.
There they go. The New York
Yeah.
Yankees.
We wiped them out of the record book. It's all good. Well, the answer
Oh,
to this
these
question
sons
for you,
of guns,
John,
they took a shot at my Brewers in here. How many World Series have the Brewers won?
hold on a second, Trajan,
pass.
because Jory's wondering what is a pennant. So pennant's like you win the American League Championship Series to go to the World Series. You won the American League pennant.
It's like
So in
winning the
NBA terms, it'd be
NFC
you won the Eastern or Western Conference Finals. You won the pennant, and then if you win the Finals or the World Series, you win just the World Series title. So pennant's like being the representative of your conference.
Dynamite drop in with that one there, Kyle. Dynamite. All right. These all suck. How many World Series titles have the Cincinnati Reds won? This is a toughie because I don't even remember the last World Series title for the Reds.
They used to be the Red Machine. I think they called them their
Yes.
Yeah, Big Red Machine. Yeah.
Big
Yep.
Red Machine.
It is less than 10, It is more than 2.
I'll say
Okay, because I was kind of thinking in that area.
4.
That's the number I was thinking. I was thinking 4.
Are you gonna stick with 4 along with Aaron?
Yeah, that's the number that popped in my head. I'll go 4.
You
Trust
should
the
have
gut.
gone one more. You should have gone one more.
Oh,
Should have gone one more.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Just next time, don't listen to Aaron. All right,
I'll-
here we go. We got an interesting one here. You guys should be able to get this one. Which actor starred in the baseball-inspired film Field of Dreams? Who is the star actor in Field of Dreams?
That's Kevin Costner.
There it is. That a boy. That a boy. I had faith in you. I had faith in you. In what
Hey, you're getting
year?
into movies. I'm kind of there
Hey,
with that.
I'm like all over the place now. I don't understand this baseball trivia one. Now it says baseball history trivia, and that was the first one on there. I don't get it, but that's fine. Which 2 teams played the first official baseball game? This one's tough. This one
oh
is tough.
goodness.
This one is tough. I just figured I'd spit it out there. I don't know if you guys don't think you're gonna get it. I will just read the answer.
I have no shot, like 0.
Like old school teams. I'll go.
Really old, my friend. Really old.
Let's go.
This team was in New York. The first one is in New York. I don't exactly remember where the second team was for sure.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say like Boston Braves and Brooklyn Dodgers.
No.
Yeah.
It was the New York 9, and they played the Knickerbockers.
Oh.
So the Knicks played
Yeah.
baseball too.
Pretty much. It was Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle against the Dogs from the New York 9.
So
All right.
back they had probably walked 20 miles to get to the field, and yeah.
Well,
Until-
Kyle probably knows this one. Liverpool Football Club owner John Henry also owns which U.S. baseball team? I would hope he knows this one.
I mean, that's a given. The greatest team in the world, Boston Red Sox.
Greatest team. in
All the
world.
Red Sox fans
Yeah.
would rather he sell the team, but it's neither here nor there.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. This is our answer to our question from earlier because I said I don't know when the Cincinnati Reds won their last World Series title. When did the Cincinnati Reds win their last World Series title?
Hold on. I want to say it was
Before 2000. I'll give you that.
yeah.
Before 2000.
I want to say before the 90s.
I think they won in the 90s.
You're
Part
both
of me
like
thinks-
teetering right on it. If you put both of your answers together and you teeter right on it,
89.
damn it, Aaron. Kyle, don't guess what Aaron did.
Oh,
You're both
Yeah, I
teetering
was
right
not
on
going to guess 89 because 89, I'm pretty sure it was like the A's or something.
it.
Some
You
reason I
said it
was
was
thinking,
in the 90s. Aaron
Yeah.
said before the 90s. Go right in the middle.
I think it was. Hold on. I know the Blue Jays won was at 90 and 91.
I want you to go right in the middle of Aaron's answer and your answer of the 90s and the 80s. Go right in the middle. I want you to say one more than what Aaron did.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say you want me to say the 90 World
Yeah.
Series.
I want you to say 1990.
Yeah.
1990 was the last time the Cincinnati Reds
Because
won.
I knew they won theirs around the Blue Jays. So I couldn't remember if the Blue Jays was 90 and 91, the Reds were 92, or if they were 90 and the Blue Jays were 91 and then 92.
Ah,
I just remember Joe Carter, so I knew it was somewhere around that.
here's one, Trajan. I'll switch it up.
you got
I'll
it.
ask
You got
you
the
one.
floor.
Who lost the first World Series in
Who lost?
1903?
I'm gonna guess the Knickerbockers.
No, I kind of want to give you a hint. but I kind of don't want to. I mean, I wouldn't give it away. It is a modern team that is in the MLB now, which is kind of insane. But
Oh, okay.
1903.
Let's go. And I'm assuming they're probably not in the same city, or are they?
They are not. I don't. I could give you the like National League or American League. Do you want that, or is that
Yeah, throw it out
Sure.
there.
okay? National League team.
The Cubs started playing at Wrigley Park in 1916.
I would not have thought this team existed this long as this like existed this long with
It's
knowing
not
how
the Brewers.
Three.
It can't be the Brewers. Is it the Pirates?
what is that your final answer?
I don't know if I want it to be now.
The Pirates did cross my mind too. But
I
was
just
trying to think, like,
feel like they've been
they're
around
always
for a
in-
long time.
yeah. How about
I'm
the
gonna go
Cardinals?
Pirates.
Pittsburgh Pirates is the
Yes,
correct answer.
yes. It
Shout out
just
to
like
the
crossed in. I was
Pirates.
like Pirates. It feels right.
I even wanted to test your like cojones on that. Like, is he gonna stick with it or is he gonna deviate
There's
away?
a few teams that I know are old. I know the
And-
Cubs are old. Like I think like 1916 is when they first started playing at Wrigley Park, is what they called it. I'm
Well, what
pretty
the-
sure.
The Red Sox are got to be old too because they won.
Mhm.
It was 100 years before it took them 100 whatever. It was 100 years of when they beat the Yanks in 04, right? Or beat not the Yanks. They beat the Yanks in the ALCS, but then they went on
Mhm.
and won. the World Series.
1901. In what year was the Boston baseball team the Red Sox formed? 1901.
But what is weird is the Boston Americans won the first World Series. So I don't know. I guess they had the Boston Americans and the Boston Red Sox simultaneously. Because in 1903, that was that first World Series was the Boston Americans who beat the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
So
Those
Interesting.
are the kind of records that Boston sets, right?
here we go.
Back in 1901. You won a World Series.
He sounded like the Yankees fans now.
The freaking banner has disintegrated by now, but it's still there. Still
None
there.
of the players
Put it
are
into a
alive.
jar.
It is there in our hearts. I don't know how many Red Sox fans would be able to tell you that 1901 they won it.
The diehards, the ones like the Yankee fans who are really holding on to the past
Yeah.
because they have to throw it in there when a Yankee fan says, "Oh, we won 27 World Series." You could say, "Oh, we won the first one, mother effer."
I think the weird thing is like when you look at some of the teams that have won
Oh, screw
since
you,
the Yankees last
Patsy.
won. Like that list is just crazy to me.
Wait, what the list that what'd you say?
Of like teams that have won World Series since the Yankees last won theirs.
Oh,
It's been
right.
spread
right.
around. It's been really spread around, I would say.
Yeah.
Except for like the 2-year span that the Giants had where they won it like every 2 years. Took a year off, win it. Took a year off, win it.
That was such a weird streak too.
Yeah. It'd be like, why you guys didn't unload the roster? Why can't you figure it out in a consecutive streak? Like, why is it wasn't it like 2012, 2014? Like they would win it. Yeah, it was every 2 years.
Yeah, they went 2010, 2012, 2014.
Weird. Just
Crazy.
odd. And then the whole thing disbanded. Tim Lincecum was broken. That dude was a freak of nature. Watching him throw a baseball made me hurt.
That was like one of the only Giants players I was like, I can like that player. But
Yeah, he was an odd duck.
You weren't-
I
you
wasn't
weren't
like Matt
Pablo
Cain
Sandoval
wasn't.
fan?
I like Kung Fu Panda. That was a good dude.
it's just something about the Giants. I was like, no, I can't buy in.
Oh, Buster was never a terrible dude.
Buster, yeah, that's the exception.
Like you got some terrible dudes that like irritate you. Buster was like, I'm gonna stay with the Giants no matter what. Like good, he was a
Classy
good
dude. Yeah.
Madison Bumgarner, he was like kind of like a Garrett Cole kind of guy.
Yeah, you could argue he's even more unlikable. I don't know. He's done some.
Yeah.
he's kind of out there.
But like he would
But he
fight
could hit.
a guy. He would fight a guy. Whereas like Garrett Cole wouldn't fight a guy. Like Bumgarner would fight a guy. He might lose, but he'd fight a guy.
Yeah. He had that up his sleeve.
Matt Cain was on that team. Brandon
Mhm.
Belt was Brandon Belt there yet? He must have been.
Crawford wasn't Crawford on that team. Or
Crawford
he's-
was there. I think Brandon Belt was on that team. Hunter Pence, that dude looked like he was jacked up on cocaine every time he walked up to the plate.
Probably.
That bat was moving faster than he was. I just remember his bat was always like, I'm like, oh my
He had
goodness.
an
Like,
his
odd
eyes
swing.
are like-
his eyes are freaking like a Bug's Life, like you're watching the cartoon movie. Like his eyes are popping out of his head.
yeah,
That
some
dude was
screw
wild.
wasn't really tightened on that guy, but he could
No.
hit. Don't get me wrong.
So
Mhm.
Sergio Romo, wasn't he shutting down games for him? He was clutch.
Joe Romo, yeah.
He was real good. Those good teams. Those good teams. They were like fundamentally sound though. They were fundamentally sound. Like they had a solid defense on that team.
Yeah, because I mean, they built those teams like they weren't like they had some power, but they weren't like crazy power hitters.
Yep.
There were a lot of like doubles hitters and moving guys along and,
I don't
and
know.
all that.
Maybe
So
after
yeah,
14
they,
freaking hits, we pull somebody, huh? We're losing to the Padres.
Padres
It's
is
fine.
the
It's great.
game's still going right now.
Freaking Tatis hit a tank and now back-to-back hits, and it's like, oh yeah, let's leave. Thank you, Pat Murphy. Now we take him out. Let's give up 35 hits and then we pull him.
You just had to make sure. You had to make sure you didn't have a little more in the tank.
Well, he's hoping to get it out, but it's
Yeah.
2 outs. But at the end of the day, he sucks. Get him out of there. Yeah. Go back to the dugout.
Well, Aubrey
I mean,
Huff
like-
was on that team.
Aubrey Huff, yeah.
Didn't think about him. I don't even remember the bullpen outside of Sergio Romo.
Oh, Barry Zito was on some of that. This was the 2012 team. Then they won.
Zito
Who was in the bullpen?
6 curveball. Didn't they have like Octavio Dotel in one of those teams or something?
That sounds right.
Bullpen.
Yeah, I need to know bullpen. Who were the arms that were shutting guys down?
Here we go. What's this guy's?
I do not remember a single one.
Sergio Romo,
There we go. We got
55 innings, 1.79 ERA.
Oh,
Jeremy Alfet, Alphadet, something like that.
yeah, you lost me.
I don't know.
I don't
He
know who
was-
that guy is.
63 innings.
Oh, I know.
one
I
in-
think I know who you're talking about. I think he used to pitch for the Royals too.
Yeah, pretty good numbers with. I mean, he had 2.79 2.70 ERA and 63 innings, so actually better numbers than some other guys in this pen. I mean, Clay Hensley, he didn't have good numbers at all.
I think it helps when you have Buster Posey behind the plate too.
Brad Penny, remember Brad Penny?
Marlins great Brad Penny.
Sergio wasn't even closing down games, huh? In 2012, it was Santiago Casilla.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
What's his
Javier Lopez. That dude was a dog.
That just sounds like I don't want anybody to think I don't want to say it the wrong way, but that's like a recycled name. Like that just how many of those have we seen? Like
Javier's or Lopez?
Javier Lopez. Like there's gotta be a bunch of those.
Yeah. The Braves had a catcher. I think the same one was a lefty who kind of bounced around because I feel like the Red Sox had him at one point.
Well, that Jorge Lopez we talked about, who was on the Orioles and the Mets and the Twins, like that's close. Like that's like Jorge Lopez, Javier Lopez. It's like I can't keep up with all these. Like there's-
No.
especially bullpen guys, because I'm like they just rotate and oh,
Yeah.
he's on the Red Sox this year, he's on the Brewers next year, he's on the Giants. It's just like I've seen the who's that one guy? Shoot, he was on the Phillies a couple of years ago. I can't remember now, but David Robertson, that guy's been. I mean, how many teams has he pitched for? You know,
Everybody.
Yankees,
Seems like everybody.
Braves.
Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs. David Roberts. I think he's on like the Rock. He was on the Rockies or something.
Who's that big league pitcher that has pitched for the most teams? It was recent, wasn't it? He pitched for the Cubs for a little bit. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, that was Edwin Jackson.
No, not
Jamie
Jackson.
Moore?
He's the one who pitched
No.
for the most.
It might have been Edwin Jackson who has, but I can't remember. There was just a guy not too long ago. I can see his face. I just can't remember what the heck his name was. He pitched for the Cubs. Is it
Not
Edwin
Pedro.
Jackson?
Not Pedro Strop. I don't think.
I'm looking up. I thought.
I'm intrigued.
Now I'm interested. I got to figure this out.
And while you're looking that up, if you're new to the show, this is what happens. We start with a list of topics and then we just dive into just.
It was Edwin Jackson, but I don't think that's the dude I'm thinking of.
Not Rich Hill.
Not Rich Hill. I don't like Rich Hill.
What, you don't like that 82 mile an hour fastball coming at you?
He can shove that 82 mile per hour fastball where the sun don't shine for all I care. I don't.
Is
I
he
don't-
still pitching? No, he's not, is he?
He's a free agent right now.
Oh my goodness.
If somebody wants to
He's
beat the
called, like,
Brewers
a
in
couple
the
of Red
playoffs,
Sox games.
who
Rich.
was that dude? That's gonna eat me alive.
Rich Hill is from Boston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Boston legend, Rich Hill.
Boston legend Rich
He's a
Hill.
legend.
Did he did pitch for Boston? Yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, good many years. Cubs.
Can't find it. Can't find it. There was just a dude not too long ago. Maybe it was most in a season where he'd been to like 8 teams.
That's
Wasn't there a
crazy.
guy not too long ago who pitched for like multiple, like he was on a boatload of teams in one season?
That's crazy.
I can't remember now.
Imagine that as your season. It's like you know, unpack, you're getting ready. It's like, oh, you're being moved again. All right, okay, thanks, Skip. Go to another team. It's like 2 weeks later. Yeah, we're moving you out too. It's like, well, what's the point at this point? Like, send me to AAA. Leave me alone. Pretend I'm not here.
Like I'll take less money to like stay in one place for like at least one
Yeah.
season. Like give me one season.
Give me a
Let me get
month
used to
at least. Let me see the city.
That's got to throw you off too. Like you're going into a whole new clubhouse multiple times a year. Like I don't know. I don't know how that would
Yeah.
shake out. I'm sure some guys would roll with it, but other guys probably not.
This
Mhm.
is irritating the piss out of me. I quit. We're just gonna settle on. I can see his face. I just can't think of his name. He's a bullpen guy. He's got like a goatee. I can't remember his name now.
For some reason, you said that, and Matt Garza popped in my head. I don't know.
No, not Matt Garza. He's the worst contract the Brewers have ever had. That's stupid. He looks like a freaking devil. You know the Duke Blue Devils? He looks like their
Yeah.
mascot. He looks like their mascot.
I don't know why I thought about Brian Wilson, that Giants guy that would just get amped out of control, like bullpen guy.
Oh yeah.
I think as a closer, you kind of have to have some gimmick to you. Whether it's Kimbrel with the arm, you have Kenley with like the little wiggle. Was it Fernando Rodney with the arrow?
Fernando Rodney's. Mariano really didn't have. He just was like,
Kanye's thing.
who was that guy on the Padres for the longest? Trevor or something.
Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor. He didn't really have a thing, did he? Oh, that I remember. I don't know. What I mean, Mariano was just like business, like just no BS.
Yeah.
But like I like those guys that have that. Like a lot of people hated on Ed, like that whole what's his name? The Mets closer, Edwin Diaz. Like that whole trumpet thing. I was like,
Trumpeter, yeah.
I was like, that's cool. Like I love that. And like I don't necessarily like the Mets, but like I don't know why not.
It's just the little things that I think traditional fans don't, whatever. But it's just like, just let the players be. Like that's a part of like his persona, whatever. Let him have it. Why? It's no harm.
Do you
Unless
think
the
any of
person
the,
is like trash or anything like that, then it's like we gotta wait for you to come out to a trumpet for you to blow a safe. Like, what are you doing?
like when all those team celebrations started? I know there were people commenting on because the Orioles had it was almost like a bong, like a beer bong thing. And like people were commenting, oh well, if kids watch this is a bad influence. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's
Family
actually
friendly.
Family friendly.
I'm like, they're
Gotta keep her there.
drinking water. It's a hydration station. Like but I think some of them are stupid. Like I think it was the Mariners who had like a sword or something. I was like, I see, it's getting a little. If I played for them, I'd
They
be
had
like, you know what?
the Trident
not-
thing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I did like the Red Sox one was like creative.
Yeah, the laundry cart. Yeah.
The one, like, that's cool.
This
I'm
is
okay with that.
irritating the piss out of me right now. Why I keep looking for this guy, I don't know. Never gonna find him.
I just think, for the sport of baseball, stuff like that, where I know we talked about before, like pimping home runs. I feel like if it's a postseason, you hit a big home run, yeah, you can slow trot it. Why not? Like you let the crowd fully realize it and celebrate it. I don't care about that. Regular season, sure, maybe you annoy a pitcher or two, but it's like just let them have a little personality. Of course, you wouldn't do that with like Pedro on the mound because Pedro would throw under your chin, but that's Pedro Martinez.
Pedro's nuts.
He really was.
No,
He wasn't even the biggest guy, and it's just like
no,
he did not care.
no, it's like Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham boxes in the off season because he's ready for a fight. It's like, dude, relax.
I remember your podcast about that, Trajan, where you were like, who was that? Who was he trying to fight? Reese or
He wanted to fight Contreras.
Contreras? Yeah, okay.
I was
Yeah,
like, dude,
play that.
simmer down. Like, Contreras is still full gear right now. I don't care if you box in the off season. I got Reese Hoskins standing over there waiting to fight you. He's just waiting to fight anybody who breathes. So go ahead. Go
And
ahead and
Adamas,
try to-
yeah, I don't know. Adamas isn't a little fellow either. Like they got some guys there.
No, exactly. And that's why when who was it from the Orioles? Catcher.
Oh, it was the back Brian McCann.
Brian McCann
James
got
McCann,
into
James
Willie
McCann,
Adames' face.
yeah.
I'm like, first off, dude, I don't even know how you piss Willie Adames off because that is like the most likable, loving dude that has ever put on a baseball uniform. Like he is like, if you ever watch the Brewers, watch him play, like there isn't a time where that dude isn't smiling, joking around out in the field, like with the umps, with opposing players. Like that is the dude you want in your clubhouse. And when I because when I was watching that game, the camera wasn't even on him. They were looking at the dugout at Contreras walking back. And then all of a sudden, Contreras turns around and he takes off. And I'm like, what is going on right now? And then you turn, and here's Willie Adames face to face with McCann. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, what could you have possibly said to him to piss him off? It's like when the Red Sox pitcher was trying to fight our first base coach down there. It's like, dude, simmer down over there. Like, man, oh, man. Brewers, but that's what I love about this new Brewers team. It's like with Craig Counsell, they didn't have this fight, they didn't have this energy, and then all of a sudden Pat Murphy walks in the door, and it's like the Brewers have had like almost brawls. It seems like in every series now. Like, you look at the Rays series, you look at the Mets series, you look at the Orioles series with McCann there, you look at the Red Sox series. You thought you were going to get through one, and then all of a sudden we have our first base coach fighting or going and yelling with a bullpen pitcher. It's like the Brewers have this edge to them now that I almost love. It's like they're not looking for a fight, but they are. Like if they're not scared of you. If you want to tussle, if you want to talk a little smack, like they're not backing down now. I think that has a lot to do with Reese Hoskins coming in. I think he adds a different element, but I think it has a lot to do with Pat Murphy and the way he runs this ship. They are just that close-knit of a group now that, I mean, if they would have been in the situation as the Orioles, that same situation, the benches would have cleared. I guarantee it. I guarantee the benches would have cleared in that same scenario there. The Orioles didn't. Kudos to them. The Brewers have this edge to them that's like, kind of worries me that we might get into a fight at some point. We did technically. Abner Uribe is still technically the worst thing with Abner Uribe. One of the Brewers' bright spots in their bullpen gets suspended at the big league level. They send him down to the minor leagues. He ends up getting suspended in the minor leagues. And then, hold on, he gets injured in the minor leagues. He now has knee surgery, so he's going to be out. So when he comes back, he has to serve his minor league suspension yet. He has to serve his big league suspension yet. They don't just go away. They're still there. So when he comes back from injury next year, he's still got to serve a 6-game suspension in the big leagues before he can play a game. It's just so stupid. So stupid. And if we designate him or we send him down to the minors, he has to serve a 6-game suspension down there. So no matter where he goes, when he comes back, he's serving a suspension somewhere.
Suspension.
Yeah. I would just bring his injured self up to the big leagues right now, throw him out in the bullpen, and just let him serve it now and just say, screw it. It's over with. Like, we'll take one less bullpen arm for 6 games and just call it good enough.
Now you got me watching the old Jose Bautista, Rugi Odor. Oh, man.
Oh,
Batista got clocked.
Wasn't that awesome?
That's up there.
But, like, that was, like, one of those fights, like, almost, what was the one? Jose Ramirez fought Tim Anderson that time, and they all threw, like, dirty haymakers, and nobody actually connected, and it was a terrible fight to end with.
It's rare you see, like, an actual fist hit a face in a baseball. Like, the bullpens come out, everybody's talking, and then it's up.
Why is the bullpen coming out? Like, what are you guys doing? You're running from the outfield. Just stay there. Just stay there. If I was a manager, I'd be like, dude, stay. Like, why are you coming? Why are you coming? What are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Why don't they like fight each other? Because they're both running in.
The bullpen clash in center field, and the players are fighting each other up front. All right, we go position by position now, boys. Skill positions over here, starting pitchers over there, and bullpens, you're out in center field.
Reese Hoskins versus Harper, and then you got the first baseman's over here. You got but like they run in from the bullpen in like such an organized, like there's no urgency to it. They're just like, all right, we're seeing what's going on.
Later,
here
comes the bullpen.
Here they come. Here they come straggling in. Like, so
it's like they could have just turned around and walked back, and the fight was already over when they got already over.
But it's like you're gonna be in the bullpen, you're gonna get up, you're gonna watch for a little bit, then go, oh yeah, let's go and join. To then just stand around and be like, yeah, man.
I love when they open up the door.
Don't throw my guy. It's like, if I'm gonna run in from the bullpen, I'm hitting somebody. I don't care. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I just like the old little open of the door. We all kind of walk out. We stand by the edge of the bullpen, and we're like, "Yep, settle down, boys." Like you're the dad who's like, "Yep, it's taken care of. I'm gonna go back in now." Like that is my favorite when they don't even run in. They just walk out, and they're all standing there. Like, yeah, okay, like
hands on the hips, like just
like a proud dad moment. Like, way to go, boys. Dude, if I was out in the bullpen, screw that. I'm standing there. I was standing in the bullpen. Unless if the fight comes into the outfield, I am staying in the bullpen. That is a long-ass run just to turn around and go all the way back when it's done. And by the time I get there, it's already over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all like, they run in together. So it's not, and like, no one's talking.
Uniform pattern.
Yeah. Oh, here's the Brewers bullpen. Oh, there's the Marlins bullpen. They're like lockstep with each other, but like no one's like no altercations are going on with those guys. Like,
do you remember Jared Hughes when he used to run? Kyle, can you bring that up on the screen? Can you look up a video of Jared Hughes running in for the bullpen? Just bring it up. We just got to watch this guy. Oh, you need a laugh. This will be the laugh to end it here. This was the funniest dude. If you get the one where JT Realmuto is waiting for him on the mound there, it is even better. it is even better.
He's
'Cause
just like,
I've seen is the memes where it's like you put your friend to bed after he's drank too much, and then all of a sudden here he comes back, and it's JT standing there.
and he's just like, this guy should not be in the MLB.
Who
Like,
is this dude? Who is this dude right now? And he's like
Why?
full sprint.
I give him credit though. Like I love the energy. Like even if he sucked, I'm like
Good brings
He
that.
wanted to be
He
there.
brings it.
he wanted to be there. Like you're not running in like that if you didn't want to be there. Give him
I
that.
think I have it coming up here.
Oh man, this is so fun.
Come on, video. Oh, here we go. It's like buffering. What's this about?
Oh boy, here it is. This is the one. This is the one. Oh, we got an ad. Hulu, Uber Eats.
Got an ad.
Is it Uber Eats? It's in Spanish, Kyle.
It's in
What,
Spanish. Oh, yeah.
what kind of messed up crap are you looking up in your off time? Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Look at this. Dead on sprint. Looks like the dude off Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Look at him go. Look at him go. Oh, all the way there.
Give me that ball.
Look at him. He's not even out of breath. He's like, let's rock. JT's like, this dude is actually nuts.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I feel like that's the perfect way to end this episode of Bases Loaded podcast. I'm joined by Aaron, Brutally Honest Sports, got Trajan, Wisconsin Sports on the Go. Make sure you check those guys out for their content. Definitely love to hear it. I'm sure you all enjoy it and give them a follow. We are on Integrity Sports Network every Thursday, about 9:15ish Eastern. So make sure you look out for us next week. We'll be back talking more MLB stuff because obviously by next week, a lot of stuff's going to happen. You know, we'll have our moment talking about the Yankees because we are three guys who just don't like the Yankees. So it is what it is. If you're a Yankees fan, tough. But I mean, part of it's because I'm a Red Sox fan. You know, Aaron likes the Orioles, and well, I mean,
I just
don't know
like to
Trey's
hate
connection
things.
with-
I just like to hate things. I really do. I find new
There you
things to
go.
hate every day. Like goat cheese, hate it. Hate goat cheese. Man, oh man, is that the grossest thing I've ever had. Some little lady, she's like bringing out the cheese platter, you know, like, and I'm like, oh yeah, nice cheese. And I'm just mowing it down, and all of a sudden I get the last one, I'm like, what in the F is that? She goes, that's goat cheese. I'm like, this ain't cheese, lady, all right? I eat cheese for a living. This ain't cheese. This is shit. This is shit on a plate. I tell you what, I have never puked off a cheese before. I puked off that cheese. I was donezo.
I mean, 95% of the show, family friendly. The last 5%, we just lost it. So it's all good.
I tell you what, though, Brewer game, I had this. I think they called it like a strawberry. Is a daiquiri a thing? It's like a strawberry daiquiri. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Kind of like a margarita, kind of like that kind of thing, you know? And it came in this like sweet cup, this tall cup, and it had a little baseball on the bottom. I was like, I just want the cup, but I got to get this $16 drink just to get the cup. So I was like, all right, I'll drink it, you know? So I'm slurping her down, you know, blah, blah, and, you know, drank the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty messed up now. Like, it hit heavy. Like, this lady mixed it heavy. I was donezo. I had a couple Long Island iced teas sitting there. I was with my cousin. My wife was there. My grandma was there. I'm like, guys, I ain't drinking these Long Island iced teas till the seventh inning. It was only the second inning. I was like, I cannot do any more. I said, I will forget 3/4 of this baseball game. I've been there, done that. Can't do it. I was like, gotta wait. And then by the third inning, the Long Island iced teas were gone, and it was a rough one after that. But great game all the way around. Snoop Dogg was there. We forgot to mention Snoop. That was crazy. We're just sitting there. They had some, I know we got to get out of here, but they had some lawyer come out there, right? And he threw out the first pitch and it sucked. And then like these little girls come out there and they suck too. And then all of a sudden you hear Snoop Dogg's song come on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unexpected. Nobody knew this was coming. And then all of a sudden, here he comes walking out of the dugout. And it's like, what? Like, whoa. Like, this is that dude. And then he goes out there and he hits it and he throws a magnificent first pitch. And it was just great. It was just greatness all the way around. I saw him. If you haven't seen the video of him swinging in the batting cage, that is hilarious to watch. He took batting practice with the Brewers in the cage. That was hilarious. And if you haven't watched him in the booth with Brian Anderson,
yes,
Gold. It was gold.
hilarious.
that was the funniest thing I think I've ever watched. That is the funniest thing I've ever watched. He called Christian Yelich his nephew. That's my nephew down there. Like,
I forget.
no way he's got an arm. No way he can throw him out. Yes, he can, Brian Anderson. No way. No way he does.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it like O'Neal Cruz or something? He's like, he can't throw that. He won't throw that.
It was Ellie throwing it across.
Yeah.
No way he can. He doesn't have an arm like that. Yes, he does, Brian Anderson. No way he does. No way. You're not getting him. That's my nephew down there, number 2. I'm like, oh my God. Like, whoa. They showed him up on the big screen in center field up there with Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, and it was just awesome. We were right behind home plate, 9 rows up, right behind home plate. So the booth is right behind us, so we could actually stand up and look, and you could see Snoop up there with Brian Anderson. And it was awesome. It was something not expected. He was at the Potawatomi, I believe, one of the casinos in Wisconsin. He was doing a show there. So that's why he was in. Because I couldn't figure out at first. I'm like, why is he here? Like, he didn't just make a special trip. Like Frank, didn't understand why Frank came to Milwaukee. He just gave up on the Mets. He's like, I'll cheer for the Brewers now. Like, I didn't get that one. But Frank was there. I don't know why. But Snoop, I was like, why is he here? Well, that explains it. They got him in there because of that. I just want to know how stoned he was when he walked out of that dugout.
I mean,
That
it's
dude
Snoop Dogg.
had to be
He's
stoked.
Snoop
What is
Dogg's
he
in
now?
rarefied air.
Oh, yeah. He was having a discussion with Pat Murphy in the dugout, and they asked Pat if he could tell them what they talked about, and he said that's undisclosed information that I can't share with anybody. So I can only imagine what Pat Murphy. I mean, Pat Murphy's an old dude. What Pat Murphy and Snoop Dogg, they talked for a while. They talked for a while in the dugout. So I really can only imagine what those two talked about. Oh, man.
Snoop Dogg's living the good life, man.
He's living the good life. He's living the good life. It was awesome.
He's had a good run. He's had a good run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we thought we were going to end on the Hughes run-in, but now we had to end on Snoop Dogg's.
Nope. You can't forget about Snoop.
To the Brewers culture. Now Snoop Dogg can say, I've experienced it.
You gotta
Better off
experience
word. Who
one.
knows?
Between the beer drinking and the cheese and brats, apparently we're in with brats. And I didn't know Green Bay is the toilet paper capital of the world, but apparently it is.
I never heard that. That's crazy.
Nope. Just found it out the other day. I was reading off random facts, and that was a random fact. Get out, ball, sit. You suck, Christian Yelich.
Well, there you go. You learned.
We got to
Green
end
Bay
this
is
bad
known
boy
for
before I
toilet
start
paper.
cussing and swearing. I can't cuss.
And Yelich, Yelich disappointed Trajan.
We're family friendly.
Yeah,
We're not cussing live television. We got to get off.
Right. So like I said, make sure you're back here next Thursday, 9:15ish, for another episode of the Bases Loaded podcast. So once again, appreciate Aaron from Brutally Honest Sports, Trajan from Wisconsin Sports on the Go. Like we're the normal crew, so we'll be here next week as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow, all the good stuff. Integrity Sports Network, and we will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your night. We're out of here. Bye.